Hi my friends, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome! My name is Sid. I love houseplants, so I just make videos of me taking care of my plants, learning about plants. I'm pretty new to this all, so it's a learning curve. Today... Okay, I decided I am going to repot my snake plant. I'm not repotting it. Well, I am. I'm just putting it back in the same pot. I'm like re-soiling it. Oh god. Anyways, this is Hubble. He is my snake plant. He was like my first real plant that I still have. I don't really remember any of my plants before. He was my first one. He was my baby. I got him, I think, in just like a little like 6-inch pot. Probably like 3, maybe 4 years ago. No, not 4. Probably like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. So I don't bring him to school with me for obvious reasons, but I love him so much. So he's gonna get some new soil. It is still technically winter. I should probably be waiting for both of these. I probably should have waited like even just like another 3 weeks, another month, but I'm home right now and I'm impatient and I wanted something to do with my plants, so this is what we're doing. This is going to be a learning experience. I didn't even like watch any videos on like how to repot giant ass plants, but you know, I am a strong and independent person. I think I can figure out how to repot a snake plant. So, because yeah, all of this stuff on top, this is like fairly new soil. This has just been here for like, I don't know, a month or so. So that we can still use all of that. This is fun, isn't it? Got most of that out, and if, like, you can kind of see how low it is, and it's like super hard. So I think what I'm gonna do, because this is tile floor, so it doesn't really matter if it gets dirty, I can sweep it up very easily. Honestly, I'm going to just dump this old dirt on the floor, and I'm just gonna clean it up when I'm done. I think that will be the easiest solution. Well, see, okay, when I repotted this into here too, I think it was before I really knew anything, and we didn't have potting soil. I think this is literally just dirt from my backyard. Which is probably part of the reason it's so compacted. It's just... There we go. There we go. So I'm gonna set that down right there. And then I'm gonna go get a trash can now and get all of this into a trash can. Like, what do you see this? Great. I would also just like to make it clear, I'm not going to just like throw away this dirt. I am gonna take it outside and dump it in our garden. Okay, here's the deal. So, this is the pot it was in, and this is the pot I'm going to put it in. I think they're the same size, it's just, they're pretty much the same size. This one just has drainage, and I like the color better, and it's cleaner. And then it's also got a tray to catch it all, so that we will not get water all over the floor. I'm going to move you back up here so you can see a little bit better. Cool. So this is where you could split it up. That's one way to propagate. Well, it's kind of propagating. Propagate Sansevierias. You can, you know, do it like you can cut them off, stick it in water or soil, and wait months and months and months and months for roots to grow. Or you can wait till it spits out little babies and propagate by division. So you just saw me take this off. This is its own plant. These are all their own plants. You could take each of these and make a ton of baby snake plants, but I don't want to do that. I want to keep it all together. The roots just weren't intertangled with these two like big chunks, so they didn't stay together, but I'm going to plant them back together. And then there's also this one that I found like literally buried in the soil. So, and it has roots on it already, so I'm going to stick that back in here too. So I'm just going to start off with just dumping this in here. Give us a nice good base layer. I'm just going to like see where I want it to sit and where the roots are. Just like assess your situation. So this guy's got nice, healthy, chunky roots, which is great. Lots of them too. Lots and lots of roots. So yeah, this definitely, I'm going to probably have it sitting in here, probably about there. So I need to add a couple more inches of soil before I even stick those in. I never said this would be clean. Alright, so I've got a lot of that, and then I'm going to mix in the rest of this perlite. Don't be too full, don't be too full. Great. And this potting mix, it comes with perlite already mixed in. There's a little bit of perlite in it, but you're going to want more. It's not really... It makes it easier to overwater your plants if you don't mix in extra perlite or orchid bark or cactus and succulent mix. You want to get something else in there for extra drainage. If not, it's all right. You just want to be a little bit, I would just be a little bit more careful with watering, because the perlite helps it drain out, and so your soil doesn't hold on to as much moisture. And that's really the way that your plants get overwatered, is by holding on. They need like a good soak. So when you water your plants, it's like most things. You're gonna want to let it like dry out and then give it like a really good soak. You kind of got to figure it out and tweak with things, but the roots need to get that really good drink of water. But then, as the soil dries out, they need it to dry out a bit because they need oxygen. And their roots absorb oxygen. And it can't do that if they're constantly surrounded by water. And that's how your plants get root rot and get overwatered. So, as long as you have really good draining soil, it's going to be pretty much in a pot with drainage, it's going to be pretty much impossible to overwater your plant if you have a nice, chunky mix. So you can see, just kind of, to do a little comparison, here is just the potting, there's the potting mix. You can see that white stuff in it, that's perlite. And then there's also just, you know, some like fibers and stuff in there. So that's what that looks like. And then this, let's try to not spill a ton. This is what it looks like with the extra perlite mixed in. That white stuff is the perlite. So it's little like pebbles of stuff. They're not pebbles. You can crush them. You shouldn't, because then there's cancer dust. But it just adds extra aeration to the soil and helps your plants not drown. So there's also, like I said, orchid bark, cactus, and succulent mixes that are more chunky and have pieces of like wood and orchid bark and stuff in them. So you could get that. Some people, they just use like cactus and succulent soil for all of their plants, which is something you can totally do. That's just not what I do personally. So now I'm going to dump, I'm not really dumping, I'm going to put some more in here. So when you're potting together multiple plants like this, like I am now pretty much, you're gonna want to think ahead and think about how it's gonna look. So like this, there's this piece that's super long. These are like the older pieces, And then there's these shorter, newer ones. So you're just going to want to think about the positioning of everything. So like there's also, you can see this one. So I'm going to want to plant these with the bigger ones more towards the middle, and then the smaller pieces more around the outside. For the most part, it's not perfect. You don't have to. There's no like wrong way to organize them. So it's just kind of a matter of preference. And my preference is that. And then this isn't super stable. I'm going to add in more. I'm just doing this so I can get the other pieces, the other plants stuck in there as well. Look at those. Those roots are awesome. That's sick. So, yeah, you want to make sure the roots are able to get nice and deep into the soil, because it's a deep pot. Don't want to waste all that space, but you need it to be high up enough that like not your entire plant is under the soil, because if you have like if you have like too much of a plant under the ground, it'll rot, because not all of a plant is meant to absorb water like the roots are. So that's just something to be mindful of. Like you can see there, that's the soil line. You can see where the soil was. So I'm not going to want to stick it into the soil up to here. You're just going to drown it and it won't be good. And now I'm just going to use my hands to fill in any kind of caverns, I guess you could call them. And yeah, want to get on. You want your soil to be packed enough to hold your plants up, but you don't want it to be like so pressed together that no water or air can get to the roots, obviously. So as long as your plant is standing up, you don't really need to push it anymore. So I'm just getting this situated. And then I have a little more soil left there. I'm just going to top it off with. It's better than when I do it at school and I get dirt all over my floor and I have to go downstairs and get the vacuum. Like check out a vacuum with my ID. It's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of annoying. So I live on the 6th floor. It takes a lot of effort to go downstairs. Kidding. But nice, nice, nice. That's a new little baby. This guy grows so much. Snake plants are they're a great plant. I love snake plants. I think they get overlooked a lot of the time because they're so basic and classic. They're not basic, they're classic. Don't give these guys too much water. Water them like once every 3-ish weeks. Generally, they really don't need that much water at all. And they can tolerate pretty much any kind of light. They're known for doing really well in low light environments. Really well all the way up to like bright and direct light, and even if they get a little bit of direct light during the day, just like a little bit, just like an hour or so. You don't want to give it too much direct light, otherwise it'll burn its leaf. We are just about done here. I need to give this guy a real good drink because it's new soil, and while they don't like a lot of water, they still need water. Okay, I've just got this, you know, give it a nice good drink. I know snake plants don't like a lot of water, but when you repot things, I think I already said this, the soil is really dry and it's going to suck all that moisture away from the roots. So you want to make sure you're getting, some people wet their soil before they pot stuff up. I think it's just a little bit easier to work with dry soil, in my personal opinion. So I usually give it just like a really good soak after I pot it up. Middle there too. You just really want to give your guys a good soak. And you know, every plant is different. You're not gonna do your own research. Don't just assume that something I said is what your plant needs, because like I said, I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. I'm new to this too. thank you for joining me for my repotting of some plants that are a little bit harder to tackle. Some vining plants can be harder, and you know, this big guy was a bit of a journey, so I think I'm probably going to have these split up into 2 videos, but I'll upload them at the same time so you can watch them. Thank you so much for joining me on this week of tackling this. I hope this was informational or at least entertaining. If you have any questions about anything or any video ideas that you would like to see in the future, drop them in the comments. I read them, so be nice. Thanks again, you guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Oh, don't forget to subscribe.